All right, short little tutorial about how to make a symbol. So a symbol doesn't have to be super complex, right? You can literally just, use your star tool and there's your first symbol, for example. I downloaded this guy right there, because it's like, peace out kind of day. It's Friday. So I'm going to customize this guy first. I'm going to make a little quick duplicate of that. And I'm going to change its color. So let's pick orange because the previous one was orange. And I'm going to change, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it as is, like right now. How to add that to your symbols palette right here, which is, under window down here, symbols, or if you have it open right there, these are the presets. How do you add it to your symbol palette? You might be able to do that with your hamburger menu right there, new symbol, or just literally just drag and drop it. And then now you call it peace. Export type, movie clip or graphic. I'll prefer as a graphic personally. Registration, all that stuff. Yeah, I can just keep it as is for now. So now I have my little graphic right there as a symbol. I'm going to delete my original. I'm going to keep my black version. How do you add the symbol to your illustration? All you have to do is, again, drag it from the symbol palette, and there it is. And if I go into my view, check your outline, it is still a regular graphic that I can just, edit as I want, right? Go with my direct selection tool, and I can just, and that doesn't work. Oh, something is not working with me today. Ah, well. But anyways, so this is how it works, right? So you can make as many symbols as you need, colorize them, etc., etc. My second option is, what if I want to edit that symbol? I just double click on that symbol right there. I go into, you see that the symbol editing mode, and you can see it's grayed out at the top, and there's my graphic right here. So here, now I can change the size of this thing. I can, rotate it. I can change the color if I want to, anything, right? And then as soon as I get out of this, either double click on the gray on the baseboard right here or anywhere, or up here in the upper left, exit symbol, my symbol has been modified, and now it's blue. That's all it is. So the cool thing about symbols is you can use them, for example, in a 3D wrap, right? So I may have done that already in the illustration for the fruit bowl. If you create a 3D object, you can use a symbol to wrap it on your 3D object. Another cool thing is this little tool right there that looks like a spray can. So it's a symbol sprayer tool. So if I click on that, if I make sure that I have my symbol selected right there, I can just start spraying it. And if I go into my preview, my outline preview right there, it is basically acts like a fill, basically, like a pattern. So what if I want to, make it denser, right? So all I have to do is just, go a little slower on top of one another. If I go faster, they disappear. If I come back again with this thing selected, with my spray, I can add more, right? If I press my Option or Shift key, things happen as well. Here I can kind of rearrange things. I can add more to it. I'm pressing the Shift key. Here I'm pressing the Option key, so I'm deleting them, right? So here I'm deleting them here, and here I'm adding some, right? So you have that option to manipulate the amount that you want. Let's delete that. Now the cool thing about this symbol sprayer tool is there's all those options as well. So let's say I drag this option right there, the symbol right there, and then I switch into my little options right there. So this is symbol style tool, for example, and this is a cool one. So let's zoom in a little bit so we can see it. If I click on it and go, oh, please select a style from the graphic styles panel first. Okay, graphic styles panel is one of those. If you can't find it, go under help, graphic styles. It's under your window. graphic styles. It was not open. That's why I can't find it. It's right there, graphic styles. So you pick, for example, this graphic style of foliage or pompadour. That's another thing to deal with, is to create your own graphic style. And all you have to do is bring your graphic style, your graphic styler tool, sorry, and you just apply it. So you're applying a graphic style within your symbol. It gets a little complex, doesn't it? Another thing is your symbol sprayer tool is pretty standard stuff, right? But what if I double click on it? And any of those tools, actually, you can double click on them, and then you get this little option window. So here the intensity is 8, this symbol set density is 5. So let's make it 25, see what it does. What it does is this, suddenly becomes really dense, right? Delete that. Any options that I'm going to change here? You can scrunch, you can change the size, you can use define, you can spin, you can do all of that stuff, right? So within that, this is what happens now. Now I'm starting to rotate them, right? So it's defined, so it follows the brush, right? If you make them random, symbol spinner tool, double click on that. So there's no short keys for that, but you can show, use defined, average, random. You can make it random as well. So as you, oops, I need to first pick my symbol. Now I can go completely random as well in the rotation. What you can do as well, you double click on your symbol again. Let's bring it back straight. And we can change the opacity of it. So you can go multiply and make it, let's say, 80%. So it's a little lighter, right? So this is what I did. Things are starting to overlap and look a little bit crazier, right? Any of those tools, the symbol, the sizer, etc., same thing. If you have, if you select one like this, you can just, move it around, change it, and it's kind of random. By pressing Option or Shift, you have the option to change multiple things all at once, and it becomes a little crazier. The symbol stainer tool, I can't remember what that does. Yeah, there you go. See, now you make them by pressing again Option or, well, which is Alt, I think, on the PC, or Shift, you change the color of it, right? So you can really customize that stuff really easily like this. You can still shift them around as well. You can use the shifter tool to kind of bump them off, and you're still in that editing mode of your symbol, basically object. Let's see, the symbol sizer. I thought the sizer was, you're able to do this by pressing Shift. You can make it much bigger. Yeah, you just double click on it and keep on clicking on it. So yeah, so there's that option to just goof off with your symbols like this. Now the thing is, again, this is kind of like a pattern, right? So if you add, let's say, another color behind, oops, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep my swatch in there by accident. So I would say make it a darker blue, and I'm moving that in the background. Lighter blue, because they're semi-translucent. So it's still an object. It's not quite a pattern. It's a symbol. You're using the symbol spray, so it's not quite a fill. So how do I turn that into, an object that I can modify, such as, an outline object like this, right? I believe all you have to do is under Object right here, you go Expand. And you expand the object and the fill, and there they are. Now they are individual object that you can actually modify that. They're still grouped. I'm just going to delete that rectangle. They're still grouped as a symbol. So you can stretch it like this, but it's still a symbol within this shape, right? And I believe that's when you go again in object and you go into path. No, it's grayed out. Expand again, maybe. Let's try it again. Now there it is. Now although this is the exact same thing, you cannot use your direct selection tool to modify it, right? You don't have any anchor. But now that I expand it again, now I have access to all my anchor tools. So there's your there's a way you can just modify a symbol that you started with, right? Again, it's in your symbol palette right here. Again, you can modify that. By modifying the symbol that you're using, you make it red, for example. There. Because this is still a symbol, it changes your document that you even though you've expanded the objects, these are still considered symbols. So they're still independent and they're still linked to your original symbol palette. Another cool thing, again, that's what I mentioned. I'm just going to push that on the side a little bit. Another thing I mentioned, actually, if you're doing a 3D object, such as like a rotate or whatever, for example, so I'm just going to do this very quickly. I'm going to give this an angle, and I'm going to go into my 3D revolve to turn this thing, preview, turn this thing into an object like this, just regular. I'm just doing that very, very quickly. But the cool thing about this 3D and how the symbols function is you can map art the whole thing here. So here I have, I'm going to try to move this out of the way. I have multiple surfaces of this cone shape, right? So I have 4 surfaces, right? So any of the map art that I go through the series here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll highlight different spots within my 3D object. I'm trying to move this out of the way so it's visible. There you go, see, so it selects this and selects that, etc. So each of those quote unquote surfaces can be covered with a symbol. So we're going to try to put them on, that's one on the outside of it. And I think that was number 3. So you pick your symbol right here. So it says symbol none, right? There's no graphic basically wrapped around that 3D object. So you pick your graphic that your symbol, sorry, that you made. Let's pick piece right there, and it's right there. So by moving it around, you find it, whoops, I scaled it the wrong way. I apologize for that. Because by moving it around, it appears on your surface of your 3D object right there. Right? And it gets totally squeezed in perspective according to shape of your object. Again, you can scale it. You can do whatever you want. Scale to fit. That's absolutely terrible. Anyways, so that's a quick way to create a 3D object with, and then you add the logo that you've created or a client's logo on it as a quick preview. And click OK, and click OK, and there it is. You have your symbol attached to this document, this object that we revolved. Now this thing, because it's an effect, if you go under view and go under outline, all you see is this shape right there, because it's an effect that rotates the object. So here, what you can do here, you can always modify that shape, use your pen tool to add a curve to it. And here you have a vessel, just like that. Anyways, so quick demo of how to use symbols and where you can use them and how you can use them with the symbol spray tool and with a 3D object extrusion and whatnot. So yeah, have fun.